Usman Khan, the attacker, was given an indeterminate jail sentence, wasn't he, for being convicted of a plot to blow up the London Stock Exchange, overturned on appeal. He was then released after spending 8 years in jail. Of course, his original sentence was 16 years. Yes. Do you think that people convicted of terrorism offences need to serve a full prison sentence?
I think it depends on the circumstances, depends on the sentence, but crucially depends on what they've done in prison. So
not necessarily then?
No, not necessarily, no. I think there has to be an examination of how our prison services work and crucially what happens to them on release from prison. Because I need to know whether or not the parole board were involved in his release. Apparently they were not. They made that statement quite quickly after the release, after yesterday's terrible incident. Secondly, that there was apparently no probation service involvement in monitoring this former prisoner, who after all had only served half his sentence and he came out I think a year ago. And there has to be an examination of what goes on in the prison, because prisons ought to be a place where people are put away because of major serious offences, but also a place where rehabilitation takes place.
So what would a Labour government do to change
well, we do a number of
system
things.
Then?
One, properly fund our prison service so that the prison officers are able to do their job, both being prison officers as well as educators, as well as people that deal with dangerous prisoners who've committed very dangerous, very serious offences. Secondly, that there be a psychological assessment of somebody in his situation before they are released to see if they are actually a danger, an ever-present danger to society, and that the parole board be involved in making that decision whether they go out ahead of full sentence. And after that, we have a probation service worthy of the name. Our probation service was half privatised, is not up to scratch, is not able to deal with the number of cases they have to deal with, and a lot of prisoners are simply put on a tag, or ex-prisoners rather, put on a tag, which if they breach, clearly then that the police are alerted. Now, in the case of this individual, he obviously was not in breach of the tag because he was at a conference which it was a wholly legitimate place to be. But something happened and he killed people at the conference and then himself was killed on the street.